Welcome everybody to OPN, Other Possibilities Network. It's my great honor and privilege to welcome our guest tonight, Topman from the UK. And we're going to have a wide-ranging discussion and interview. I know we're being shadowcast on a couple of other channels. I want to welcome all you guys that are watching us, and hope you find the evening enjoyable and educational and informative. I hesitate to mention which channels because, as you can see, we're having a little bit of problems with some people who would be distracting, so we're going to try to save everybody else that heartache. Welcome, sir. Thank you for coming to spend the evening with us. This is another in our international interview sessions. These guys are doing us a great favor. It's, I think, 1 a.m. or so in the UK, and so Topman's given us up some of his badly needed sleep time, and we want to make sure that we have a good exchange with them. This is a participatory thing, so if chatters have questions, put them into chat stream. Do it in bold. Zena is going to be the facilitator tonight. And what we're going to try to do is save questions for topic breaks. But we will try to get them all in. If I miss any, I apologize in advance, but if you repost them, I'll see them. So let's get on and get started. Can you give us a short introduction about yourself and any contact information you would like to share?
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Top from UK, or John, as my mum would know me. Primarily helping online with Occupy, building relationships, chatting with you guys across the world as much as possible, and trying to get everyone talking via Twitter and social media in any way that I can, and sharing of information, which I work quite well with other guys that you know, UK Watching and others. Distributing links, you'll find us in a lot of your live stream chats, just being a pest and just sharing information and doing what we can and spreading the message out there. Okay. But yeah, primarily based in the UK.
Yep. And can you tell us geographically where in the UK? Are you close to London or in another part of the country?
I'm actually approximately 80 miles west of London along the M4 corridor in a place called Swindon. Okay. Nothing happening Occupy-wise in Swindon at the moment.
Excellent. Would you like to, do you have Twitter handles or any contact info you'd like to get out? We like to do that on the front end so you know, we don't forget.
Absolutely. The Twitter handles that I help out with, my own personal Twitter handle, which is TOPMAN52001. I help out also with Occupy.org, which is OCCUPIIORG. That's where a lot of the information for Occupy gets shared from.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that. So I guess our lead-in question is, how did you get involved with the Occupy movement?
It's actually quite early on. I was actually in Tunisia I left Tunisia the week before the guy unfortunately set himself alight and really much caused the Arab Spring. So I followed a lot of what was happening in the Arab Spring from the start. Obviously, a lot of the places that I visited in Tunisia were very much on the news the week after I left there. So I followed that quite closely, and then it morphed into Adbusters and anonymous IRC internet relay chat rooms, and I followed it from there. And then Occupy was born in Wall Street, and just followed the progress from there, and been very much keeping up to date and informed as much as possible.
Outstanding. And so you started, you know, following shortly after the September 17th occupation of Wall Street. And did you immediately become participating in the digital media distribution via Occupy.org. You could tell us how that came to be and your participation in that?
The Occupy.org website was born out of frustration with a lot of the guys sat in live stream LSX chat. We knew platforms were being set up, a lot of work was going on, but initially there was no platforms as such apart from IRC and Twitter in the early stages, and I was in the Occupy Wall Street rooms, etc., following what was going on. And to be honest, it was actually before Occupy Wall Street was actually there or involved. I knew it was going to happen, so when it did happen, it's like, it's one of those moments where you think, yeah, you're part of something, you knew about it, the organisation of it, etc., from that side of things. And it just progressed from there. Occupy.org itself was born just after Christmas of this year. We were waiting for guys in, I think, Wall Street were proposing a new social platform to be developed over a number of months, and we were to be waiting till April of this year. The problem with that was, okay, there's going to be a platform in April. Is it going to be what Occupy or what we wanted as part of the LSX live stream? So, good man, TA, had a suggestion. We all jumped on Mumble and had a discussion. Within a day, there was a platform set up called Occupy.org, and the longest part of that process was decided on the name for it, which was great fun and to be a part of.
Yeah, outstanding. It's just a wonderful story of cooperation and people working together, and also immediate problem solving. You saw the need, you know, you could have waited, but a group of people got together and leveraged the platform. And so from Occupy.org, was Mumble and the use of it as a communications platform and the outgrowth of that? I know it existed, you know, Mumble existed as a platform, but did you try out a couple of different platforms before you hit on Mumble as the one to use, or how did that evolve?
I was invited to Indomedia IRC for Occupy LSX, where I met and chatted with a few people. V, who's in the chat now, I can see was one of the guys initially that I was chatting to. But the speech or voice over IP platform itself, I actually nicked from what the Zeitgeist guys were doing. I see they were using a platform called TeamSpeak. And I thought, this really, why are we sat here typing when we could be sat here talking? So in the IRC, I suggested, why don't we use this? A young lad who's no longer with us as part of Occupy now, by the name of Jixer, kindly funded that server for the first month. But within that first month of TeamSpeak being set up, which essentially is a gamers server, the decision was made collectively to move to Mumble, which was a non-proprietary open source software, which the guys have managed to get their hands on and manipulate it and get it working for Occupy, and it is really going well. So that's how that progressed. It started off as TeamSpeak from the IRC, and then Mumble came from that.
Well, great. So I would love for you to speak to our chatters a little bit about Mumble. It's fairly new to me because Zena introduced me to it, and I think it's fabulous, even though I don't, I listen a lot, I don't participate much because I use it mostly to try and learn and, you know, develop ideas for these interviews. But if you could just talk about the whole Mumble experience for these people. My personal observation is it's a great group of people worldwide that are very friendly and helpful, and it seems to be reasonable and laid back in there. And for those of you who don't know, Top is one of the facilitators of several of the rooms, which means he just kind of keeps the things organized and the chats flowing and all that, and it works really well. So I would love more and more people to know about Mumble.
The Mumble platform itself, the beauty of it or the difference that we found is primarily the push to talk function. Excuse me. It allows you to have tens, if not hundreds of people in a single room, and if it's organised correctly and working with these guys on a regular basis on a Thursday, etc. It's like we understand if you want to speak, you put a plus sign in. You put a plus sign in, I follow the plus signs, you push to talk, there's not a lot of interruption, everyone conducts themselves absolutely impeccably, it is on the majority of the time highly respectful of each other, and you can get some great conversations from it. It's now being worked on that there's translators in the room for different languages, so to open up internationally, even though it's always been an international participated platform, we're putting a bit more organisation into it, and that's down to people like Ghost coming in, translating from French, etc. It's the guys that are actually participating in the meeting that make it. It's these guys that are translating. It's really fantastic to be a part of such an international discussion. It works really well. There's so much respect for everyone, and everyone knows what they're talking about. Everyone is on an equal footing in that platform. No one is better than anyone else, and everyone has fantastic information to share. It's a pleasure to be a part of it each and every week.
Yes,
and as you say, the more people that can use Mumble for their Occupy meetings. Just today, in fact, we see Occupy Africa, the room Occupy Africa being populated. It just shows people jumping in from all over the world. You can see the room list in there. It's just growing, and it's with Occupy. This is iClass just to start.
Yes. Well, I don't know if you got to catch some of Daenerys's interview last night, but we were talking about communication platforms and how important it is for all of us to use those to build connections. And I see that she's looking in here tonight. So hi T, it's good to see you again. But I want, part of the messages that we get out as part of these interviews is that we are all one, even though we're geographically disconnected. We have many, many avenues of how to reach out to each other and share information and ideas, and I want to compliment you and the whole Mumble crew on putting that together and leveraging it so well. And I think now would be a good moment to stop and see if there's any questions so far that people want to ask before we move into our next little bit. Any questions from the chatters, and I'll read them off. And are you watching either the LSX chat or the OPN chat, Top?
Just on the OPN chat at the moment now, flicking over to LSX.
Okay. If you want to catch any LSX questions, that will be fine. So, anybody want to come on with a question? If not, we're going to move on. We got a little lag. Top, are you doing well? Only 18 people are saying hi. Good evening, amigo. Glad you could join us. Okay, well, we're going to move on. So we're interested in backstories all the time. And so what do you do in your regular outside of Occupy life? Do you have a day job, and what are your interests, and how do you integrate all that into the time you spend in Occupy?
Is there a life outside of Occupy? I think is the first answer to that. But no, I was off work with illness for a number of months, which allowed me to spend a lot more time than I do currently with Occupy. But I do have a day job. I work, believe it or not, in the oil and gas industry. The benefits of that, it allows me to understand the geopolitical implications of commercialism and corporations pretty much throughout this planet, as you can all imagine, the reason why we're all here. So I've got a good footing or understanding as to where the oil and gas companies are operating, under which circumstances, the history behind it. And the way that it factors in is that I make time. Is the first thing I do when I come home. Did that picture go up of me?
Yeah,
Nice
we got it up. People dig it.
Absolutely fantastic. 10 out of 10, perfect timing. But yeah, my work allows me to have a good foundation for understanding of what is happening and what I'm here to do. And it compounds my beliefs. Even though I do work for a good company and it's a socially responsible company, that doesn't change from the fact exactly what is happening in the world today, and that's the reason why I feel compelled, should I say, to be part of Occupy. It just stirs me on even more. So going back to work, although took hours out of my day from online occupying, shall we say, it's amalgamated into quite a nice mix, shall we say, of work-occupy relationship. So it's still really keeping my interest in a big way. It's stunning to be part of Occupy.
Yep. Are your coworkers and family and all the people you know, do they know you participate in Occupy, and what are their reactions, and what kind of conversations do you have with them?
They would say too many. I bring up a lot of social awareness, social consequence conversations in work, not 100% Occupy related, because I don't feel it would be appropriate for me to discuss that in work as such. But I can raise questions on the UK Olympics 2012, the work that corporations are doing around the world. Just today, Olympics, Team GB has been found out that their kit is being made by sweatshops. For example, it's this sort of stuff. It's like you raise and have conversation with your family, your friends, and your peers, and it's a conversation that's come up in the round table. In fact, is how is the most effective way to communicate with your family and your friends without seeming like a dictator to them, or just somebody that's constantly banging on about some belief of yours, when actually in fact it's more than a belief. It's actually is going to affect all of us. So we've had discussions, and I don't think anyone's come up with the perfect solution to it. And I don't think there is one, to be honest. It's just talk with your friends and family and address them individually and bring up different discussions at different points and make as many conversations as relevant to social justice as you possibly can. And Occupy obviously falls dead centre in all of that. So any conversation can actually be related to Occupy if it's of social conscience, social awareness, social fairness and social responsibility.
Yep. Well, I always like to couch it in terms that Occupy is an outgrowth of a never-ending struggle for social and economic justice. You know, it's just a shorthand term that we can use for that, but the ultimate goal is social and economic justice, and just getting people to have the conversations and engage in them is so important. And I just got to give a shout out, because I see your mom popping up every so little bit. Somebody told me which user she was, so I want to welcome Top's mom, and I want everybody to know that we absolutely love Top and all the good work that he's doing, and we're grateful to have him as part of our movement. And you should be very proud of your son, because he's very inspiring to a lot of people. So I just wanted to get that part in. So continuing on, what is the biggest lesson you think you have learned as being part of Occupy and working with the movement?
That's actually quite easy. It has happened to me quite recently, and it's speaking with guys like V, TA, UK Non, Pins, Barbed Wire, Luna, and it's the beauty of a meeting that happens on a Wednesday, which is free skilling, and that is how to take care of yourself. Share thoughts, share ideas and skills with each other. So you don't have to buy everything, you don't have to consume everything. Free skilling I learned of, to be honest, a couple of weeks ago. It's fantastically new to me, and I see Occupy, that has been a major part of what Occupy can learn from. Is that's one way to disengage with those that are looking to exploit us.
Right. It's a common theme that comes up. Almost everybody references that, the sharing aspect and the compassion and working together. I'm interested in your experience. Have you found that the people you interact with as part of Occupy are mostly cooperative, or do you have to struggle with differing opinions and divisions within your groups and across the movement?
Beautiful question, Mark. Yes, we all know the global issues with Occupy. I do find the online element to be the most, shall we say, easiest to work alongside compared to the issues that the guys have on the ground, but they have a massively different direction on what is important to them at the moment. So me sat in my living room discussing Occupy is different to the pressures that are happening on the ground, and that may be for the others that I interact with through Mumble and through the live stream chat as well. We're all looking for the same thing, but we just have different pressures and different considerations to actually take care of and look after, and that's where I think some of the major problems have arisen in the conversations that I've had with the guys on the ground, and it's not detrimental to them. I would probably be exactly the same as them if I was camped out in a tent in the cold throughout winter. My shall we say, my considerations or what's important to me would be completely different to what we are sat here.
Right. And do you feel like we are getting better at successfully bridging that gap? T spoke to it last night too, about the difference in the digital community and the online community and how to bridge those gaps. And it's a challenge in the U.S. It's a challenge worldwide. So how can we effectively provide support and assistance to the people on the ground? And what kind of ideas have you guys tried out that work successfully that way?
Everything, I think, is the short answer to that. You can just ask the guys that are part of the LSX live stream chat, from moderators to viewers to participants in the chat. Everything has been tried. There's been platforms set up, communications through various email platforms and invitations set up, but it's as I say, the guys on the ground, I do have an understanding and a sympathy is that one, not everyone is online. We need to understand that if there's a camp of say 80 people, you can bet your bottom dollar less than 10 of them have internet connection or smartphones or whatever, and then even if there is communications there as well, then they do have problems with the internet situation. And these are all discussions that we've had in the LSX chat for a very long time. Because of the different pressures on the ground, I guess that it seem like the guys online are preaching on how it's done. I don't know. There is a breakdown there in the understanding and compassion of it, and it's not something that I would honestly say is being completely resolved. Far from it, but it's a learning experience, and the only thing I can suggest is there's a lot of people still involved with Occupy that have been from the start. Hopefully these initial teething problems don't have to rid themselves again.
Right. That's a really good point. So how involved are you able to be? I know we talked before we went live about LSX is kind of in a rebuilding period. after their eviction, but throughout the time they were occupying, how involved were you able to be with them, like at the location, or at least in communication?
Location-wise, I've been to London twice personally. Once was an off-the-cuff visit. I woke up at 6 in the morning and jumped on a train and went down and seen the Bank of Ideas, seeing what was going on down there. And the second time was a planned visit with my girlfriend, and we went and visited Finsbury Square for the day. That's primarily through financial reasons and health reasons, but communication with London started off absolutely fantastic. Excuse me, it went really well. The live streamers were a lot more interactive with the guys. We were coming up with suggestions, some great suggestions by everyone in live stream on how to get things working and make sure everything was covered. But in my own honest opinion, and one thing I will say about this interview is that I am only speaking for myself and my own experiences. I don't speak on behalf of anybody. Is that there are just too many localized pressures with the camp. So many different working groups to be part of, and there's a massive dilution on focus. Was my own understanding of it. I could be wrong, but that's just what come out of it for me. So again, maybe that's something that can be learned moving forward. But the guys were out there in the cold. They were out there for many months, and they performed some immense live stream footage. It was some of the best moments of Occupy have been captured on film for LSX. Occupy was captured on film, and it just sort of got diluted away from that. So, but you can't blame these guys. This is a voluntary movement. No one's getting paid here, so we're not clocking in and clocking out, and you have to perform exact hours of work, shall we say. But that's some of the concerns that I picked up on. Whether they're 100% correct or not, that's just my observations.
How do you feel community support, public support in general, like in the community that you live in, also around London or the bigger cities in the UK, what is their level of support for the ideas behind Occupy?
The ideas and the understanding of Occupy, if you speak to anyone with sound facts and information as to what's going on, and this is where information and knowing your stuff really is important, because you can talk with conviction and with heart. You need to be able to know what you're talking about. When you have that understanding and you believe in what you're talking about, there isn't a single person that does not agree with me when I just start discussing Occupy. No one said, you're talking rubbish, you have no idea what you're talking about, or taking a completely opposite polarised view to me. Everyone that I speak to is pretty much bang on result. It's like, it's about time someone started doing it. I think that's maybe where some of the Occupy message has been lost, is we're not, or we haven't been talking in our own communities as much. Again, that's just personal observation. There isn't anyone that I can name that I've spoke to that's had a go at me because of my beliefs and what I think Occupy stands for, etc. So mainstream media has really destroyed the public opinion of Occupy, and it's up to us to grab that back.
Yeah. That was going to be my follow-up question. How is mainstream media representing you in the UK? So I take it to be not so good.
There's one or two media outlets that have commented on Occupy. There's even been Michael Moore on a UK national programme called Newsnight, etc. The little snippets here and there, on the whole, have been good, but it's been a media blackout for Occupy. If you're a mainstream media organisation, you would class that as justified. You're protecting your interests.
Right. Um, so I had another question we were talking about. Oh, I would be interested in knowing, and so would our people here on this side, what is the general perception of the UK Occupy of the US Occupy? Like, how do you guys perceive us, or do you perceive us as being active and animated and progressive and organized, or just what's your perception of our part of the movement over here?
Excuse the term, guys, but you guys are absolutely freaking nuts. Fair play to you. You're certainly committed. Speaking with all you guys at the round table, your heart is 100% there. It's similar to the guys in the UK. If you're part of Occupy now, we are really one. So it's not US, UK. I don't think the UK see it as that. Speaking with the guys that I speak to from the US, they don't see it as the UK and the US. We're all one. We're all sat in the same room. We're all discussing the same things.
Yeah, this is where Susie's supposed to put, we're all one tribe here. That's what we always come to, because everybody sort of feels the same way. We all are one tribe. We're a tribe of the human race. I think T touched on that last night also. Do you guys interact much with the continental occupies, like Tanaris group in Spain or any of the other occupies on the main continent there?
The first guys that I think we really spoke to in depth was the guys from the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. Again, these guys are 100% committed. They know their stuff. They're very tech savvy. Robin, Snow, and others that I've mentioned. They're really clued up. They know what's going on, and it was these guys with Occupy Police in the US actually set up the round table in Mumble. That was the birth and origin of the round table, was the Netherlands and the US. I got involved totally. Part of the first meeting, it was great to be a part of, but I was just asked if I wanted to host the second meeting, and that's where it's really carried on from there. But where T and Dignadix, Tanaris, and others, we've been working quite closely, speaking on a regular basis, and just building relationships. And Wim has been absolutely instrumental in hooking us up with you guys in the US and throughout Canada, and barbed wire as well. As couldn't do it without these guys. We're all sharing things, we're all sharing information, and we're all building bridges and making contacts. It really is getting stunning. Just this week, in fact, St. Petersburg, Occupy St. Petersburg, we made contact with, that joined us at the round table in Russia. Occupy Moscow put up their first tent in Defiance in Red Square for the first time in 20 years. So we was watching that on the Ustream channel, and that happened on Sunday, Monday, and now we have Occupy Russia now part of the round table also. But it's France, it's Germany, it's Norway. Who else have we got? We've had a guy in from Italy. We've had people in from Israel. I don't know if you guys know that Israel had a massive social protest movement last year. They had over 500,000 people in the middle of Tel Aviv protesting against social inequality and the elite making decisions on their behalf. Bulgaria, yes, we have Bulgaria with us as well. Thank you, Pins. Greece, Turkey. Pretty much every country in Europe, everyone is going through their own political strife at the moment, and they are finding their way slowly but surely to the Mumble platform and Occupy, and we're listening to their concerns. We're distributing information for them, and we're all in this together. It's in fact, sorry to use the or nick the comment released by Anon, but we're united as one, divided by zero. We're all in this together.
Well said. Well said. I'm glad to hear that. It's a good observation, and I think it's one that we forget. But we keep reminding each other about that through these platforms and reaching out and offering help and information and assistance. Then that's how we build. You said earlier, build relationships. That's the key to everything. What do you think the biggest challenge Occupy faces both locally in the UK and worldwide might be?
Money. Getting money out of Occupy. Anyone wants to make any significant donation, turn it down. It's not needed. You don't need money to have a conversation.
I want to make a T-shirt about that. That's great. You don't need money to have a conversation. That was so perfectly and succinctly set. I really appreciate that sentiment. What is your next step in the movement? What do you plan on doing in the future, and how do you plan to participate?
I currently am working. I have been working locally, building relationships with other. But in the UK, we've got like UK Uncut. You've got folks that are protesting against fuel prices. You've got folks protesting against NHS. It's like these are all things that Occupy is showing that we want to resolve from a top level. We're not just trying to aim at one particular cause, because you have one cause, you solve it, another pops up. I am looking to work locally with groups that are working on these individual causes and bring them all together. So I've been trying to make contact with my local UK Uncut and other protest groups in my area, not necessarily an Occupy Swindon as such, but just get these guys discussing, bring them online and show that this isn't just about Swindon, this isn't just about our hospital, this is about all hospitals, this is about all education, and working that way. Hopefully I'll be speaking at a local event, the Swindon Festival of Literature, that have asked Occupy to come and hold a talk with them. I'm hopefully going to be part of that. But as well as the online stuff of building relationships internationally, it's very much has to be a local thing. I think my dad said he was going to be tuning in, so it's actually a suggestion from my dad. As you start getting local people questioning the issues that local governments and local officials are making on your behalf, and just highlighting what's going on in your local governments, because it all starts with local government and gets fed to the top. So the more you work and highlight to local people what affects them, the more success I think we're going to achieve. The global platforms are fantastic, but at the end of the day, this is a grassroots movement, and we need to get people occupying locally.
One of my favorite terms when I'm talking to people is think big, work small. If you start occupying at home and spread out, the ripple effect is extremely powerful.
I'd just like to highlight something. Just speaking with, it's conversation, speaking with Fingal in Ireland, occupied Dame Street. This man, he sits in his garden with his laptop, and his neighbours walk past and say, Fingal, what are you doing? And he invites them in, and he shows them what he's doing on his laptop regarding Occupy, and engaging in conversations with his neighbours that way. But when I heard he's doing that, I just thought that, you've heard the phrase before, but I just thought that was immense. Absolute crazy, and absolute credit to Fingal and the guy.
Did we freeze Top, or are you still there?
I'm still there.
Okay, all right. You froze just for a bit, but that's fine. So Barb keeps saying, show us the cat. Do you have a cat? Are we going to show cats? Because I have one of mine in here. Oh, she went. I don't know where she went. But yeah, we have cat and dog shows. We hold them up to so feel free to show your cat.
2 seconds. Stevie,
okay.
Come here. This is my angry cat, Stevie.
Oh, he's awesome. Look at that.
It's a she.
She, oh man, she was crazy cool. Look at that. An
She is
OccuCat.
I've been occupied all day. I was hoping that you guys on live stream would keep an eye out to make sure I'd survived her occupation, because she gets quite violent.
That's great. Do you have anything else you'd like to add to the group or to talk about while you have the platform? We'd love to hear anything you would like to add. So feel free to speak.
Yeah, it's just appreciation, because I know there's a lot of appreciation being thrown my way, but I couldn't do this without some very immense people that I've been engaging with from the start. We've got the lovely Sandra in Scotland, who is one of the most faithful, loyal people to Occupy. We've got Pins, we've got UKA, Anon, we've got Barb, we've got Wim, UK watching, spamming left, right and centre, TA, Luna. There's some very strong women in Occupy, and I find these beautiful ladies fantastically inspirational to me. Their written word and how they articulate themselves. It's just immense to be a part of, and these guys, they know their stuff. It's beautiful to be a part of it, and there's a firmness in people's actions. Is we rarely suffer fools, and it's like this ain't a game at the end of the day, people. We're looking at global social change. This isn't a picnic. This is Occupy, and we're trying to change existing systems that have been here for centuries, and you can't do that just messing about. You need to have your head screwed on, and working with these people is just absolutely immense for me. You guys are my inspiration. So it's these guys I'd like to thank. I wouldn't know half the stuff that I do. I wouldn't be in this position now if it weren't working for everyone. So it's really just to show that appreciation, really. I do tell him occasionally, but I don't think everyone else realises the amount of work that everyone's putting into it, and that's just the people that I'm working with. That's not even the people that I'm going to meet, shall we say,
right.
Or going to have the privilege of working with.
Right. The thing, I find this too, because this channel is produced by a team, and we work a great deal of many hours to try to put these things on. There's a lot of background work, and Occupy itself is in fact a noble and honorable effort, but it is work, and nobody should think otherwise. We're not playing around. We are trying to change the world, and people worldwide are doing that. So a couple of questions. One person asked, has your girlfriend joined Occupy yet?
She has, and she is on the site. She doesn't participate as much as I'd like. There's a particular reason for that. She's going through a lot of studying and stuff at the moment, and I'm not great. I'm not one to bring down the hammer and tell people what to do. I'm not in a position to tell anyone what to do. Can I just be excused for 30 seconds?
Yeah, sure.
Hello? Oh, I'm going to have to call you back, babe, because I'm in the middle of an interview. They were just asking about you, actually. What are you doing for Occupy today? But no, I'll call you back, babe. No.
This is live, real interview, people. There's the proof right there. That's just the way it goes.
Washing's in the back there.
The laundry in the back, the girlfriend on the phone. Life is good. So we're battling the trolls in the chat, so I'm missing some of the questions. And I got distracted when the phone rang. What were you What were you speaking to? Or you were giving shout outs to all the people, and we were talking about how everything successful is a team effort and a cooperative effort and a collective effort. And, you know, my folks here, all of us, we look forward to working with you guys to help you accomplish your goals, and also, you know, anything that we can just keep exchanging this information and these ideas and be supportive and helpful of each other. See, please tell everybody about your bus money campaign.
Thank you, Bob. My local bus company, they are funded by local government, even though it's a public limited company. These guys decided to start cutting routes because they were trying to cut back on costs. My local bus company, they do not refund change. So you put a set amount into a box, whatever they call it, you don't get any change from it. And I found out they're making £74,000 in 2011 from this non-refund of change. So I contacted them and said, look, what the hell is happening with this money? This isn't your money, this is essentially a gift to you from the public. And I understood, or I found out that I think it's you guys, or the guys in New York, they were donating their excess change on particular travel cards, and they were donating whatever that could not be spent on a card to charity. So I phoned up and made a demand on my local bus company that they should be donating this money to charity. It's the right thing to do. Essentially, if you don't do it, you are pretty much committing theft of the public purse. So I got a response from them saying, we're sorry that you feel that you never got your change back, which was pretty much the only response I got from them. But to which I had to reply, you've absolutely missed the point entirely. You didn't get my question. But what has happened locally is that a campaign was set up, not by myself, I'm not going to take any credit for it, but to get these routes that were cancelled reinstated. So instead of the money going to charity, the routes were effectively reinstated, although in a limited capacity. But that's what Bob asked me to mention. But it's just one of those things that got my back up. It's like £74,000 going to a company that's funded by the council. It's a public limited company, should I say. They should not be taking 74 grand off people that, one, are trying to be green and put their cars in the garage and take public transport as per government recommendations, but also the people that have to take the bus and cannot afford to lose that 50p out of every £2 that they put in that box. So I thought it was a joke, a piss take, and it should not have happened, and I will ensure that nothing like it happens again.
Well, outstanding, and I want to make a point to just everybody. It goes to show that the start of that change was one person questioning the status quo and demanding action. It has to start somewhere, and we all need to remember somebody has to go first. So, you know, if something arises and you know it's wrong, just speak up and speak out, because then people will rally around that. People are not stupid. They know when they're being taken advantage of. And we have to challenge these organizations and institutions and corporations to take that back. Any more questions from the crowd? If you could get them in, now would be the time. A little bit of bolding questions. I'm not seeing. Can you look at somebody check LSX's stream and see what they got going on? One of the chatters, maybe. We're all sitting here and waiting for the lot. Somebody's saying they haven't been here long, but you know for sure that you work hard and they appreciate it. And I think now's a good time, you know, to follow your part, I try to do this, is to speak out to the team I work with, and the ladies that I work with are all exceptionally fantastic, good humor, smart, and they work their tails off, to help make this possible. So they're having a tough night tonight, so I want to thank Zena for facilitating and modding, Suze for modding, and also Clearly for jumping in and helping out. We really appreciate that. And Resist, I'm glad that you were able to help out with us too. Thank you very much. Okay, we have a question. Do you find that the various groups working on the tentacles of the monster through the system are finding each other through Occupy? Or is Occupy a standalone thing?
That depends on us. I mentioned earlier, it's up to us to bring all these breakout groups, because they're all fighting individual causes, whereas Occupy is going straight for the jugular. The system is failing humanity as it is at the moment. We cannot carry on the way it is. I think we all know this. The planet is failing, humanity is failing its people, and it really cannot carry on. UK Uncut, okay, they're fighting tax cuts to corporations and the austerity measures, but that's just one aspect. Is they're not tackling the finance of politicians, for example. So they're coming at one issue, whereas Occupy can bring all of these groups and we can address all issues. That's how I see that's what I believe the beauty of Occupy is. It's all encompassing, and you can tell it resonates with so many people around the world, because it's one of the fastest growing movements that's been known to mankind. Over 2,000 plus cities occupied around the world, and there's still hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people still occupying. It's really, really fantastic to be a part of, but this is serious business, guys. At the end of the day, the corporations and how they're allowed to get away with what they're doing with the Olympic Team GB kit being made by sweatshops, and Apple allowing Foxconn. This is an absolute stunner. Foxconn in China employs over 1 million people. 11 suicides in a month. Hundreds of people congregate on a roof threatening to commit suicide at Foxconn. So Apple say, okay, we're going to do a survey, an investigation, what's going on. They knew about this in October and before, but they allowed it to carry on. And it's only this year that they've sent in an investigation team. But I just heard from Foxconn this week that we're going to make workers' lives a lot better we're going to install 1 million automation robots. So effectively, they're not just making their lives better, they're actually putting them out of a job. Or a majority of these people are out of a job. It's like, beautiful work, Apple, the largest valued company on the planet, and humanity worships this false idol because they have white equipment that works well, and they put that over the cost of humanity. I find it quite sickening. I did own an Apple phone a few moons ago. I won't be doing it again. It's this sort of stuff that I think is the heart of what Occupy should be discussing, as well as the local stuff. It's how can we let this carry on? And then you've got your privacy issues, your online privacy issues, and all the security measures being taken out. We had a sonic boom over my town during the week, and they blamed it on a helicopter setting off an accidental panic alarm that was being hijacked. It's like, guys, are you for real? This is a test for the Olympics. You're looking at having fast jets performing terrorist raids over London, and for the Olympics, it's like, it's all gone a bit too far. In my own personal opinion on that.
I think everybody would agree with that too.
Where does it stop?
Yep. There's a question that says, you do a wonderful job facilitating the roundtable. How do you manage it with so many people? Because I see the roundtable, it's well populated, with so many differences, and handle the divisiveness when it arises as a facilitator of the roundtable.
I don't see them as divisiveness as such. Today we're just having a conversation on the facilitation today. Is how far do you let somebody have an influence on the round table? And a lot of the guys will have, I believe, would have the same logic as me, as well, until they are being offensive, personalised in their attacks, etc. But we're all allowed to have differences, and I don't think that should be restricted in any way, shape or form. Okay, we could be a bit tighter with the length of time that people speak and being concise with their answers, but I'm just as bad with letting my tongue run away with me. So how can I be hypocritical and say you need to be quiet now, your time is up, sort of thing, when I have a tendency to run off a bit myself? So I don't see it as divisiveness, but as long as everyone feels that it's fair, then I think that's what makes it work. And I don't see too much of it in the meeting on the round table. It does happen occasionally, but I've had conversations at work that get more heated than the round table ever has.
Yeah. Do you have any outlook or any plans for May the 1st? You know, it's a big day, May Day in the States, and we were wondering, if that's the same case in the UK.
There are plans for May. Personally, I'm not part of them, though there are going to be activities in May which I will be in London for. I can't really go into it too much at the moment, to be honest. No direct action or anything like that, but I'm hoping to be in London at some point. But just to be clear, I am not Occupy London, Occupy LSX, etc. I'm just an online occupier that chats with all of these guys wherever I can and make friends, shall we say. It's a relationship and information distribution exercise at the moment.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and we hope you have a great May Day on your end. There's a lot of plans around, and in the States, so it should be a big deal. And we were talking with T last night, and May 15th is a big day in Spain. So sometime between the 1st and the 15th, we're going to bridge that gap and say, okay, this is what happened here, and get the lead up to theirs, and then do a follow up. It's going to be great. It's all about the relationships and the interaction and the building trust, skill sharing, and info sharing. So I think with that, if you have anything else that you'd like to add, we're going to give you a chance to do that, or we'll wrap it up so you can get some sleep, because I know it's late there in the UK.
No, Mark, thank you. There is, again, I'd just like to give a shout out to all the guys in LSX and Mumble that I talk to each and every day, for all you guys that take time out to come and listen to us at the round table. I'd like to thank Anonymous for some of the intense, fantastic work that these guys are doing. Obviously, a lot of it doesn't reach mainstream media, but some of the actions that are going on behind, it's some fantastic work with what they've done in the Middle East, in the Arab Spring, and that as well. For the guys in OP Britain, if you're listening, with some of your actions here as well, absolutely stunning. And to the guys that are being extradited to the US, and Julian Assange, and all the guys that are looking for the transparency that we're all trying to get from our politicians. At the end of the day, these guys need to realise we pay their wages, we tell them what to do, not the other way round. So this is pretty much a case of start listening to your people, folks. This ain't a game.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you taking your time, and we enjoyed the conversation with you and wish you well and hope you have a good rest of the weekend. Stay strong and stay positive. You're an inspiration to all of us, and we're really grateful to have become able to know you and to work with you. Feel free to drop in on us anytime, and we'll do the same with you, and I hope to see you on Mumble. Thank you very much for coming tonight.
It's an absolute pleasure, and love you all, man. You're all an inspiration to me.
Yep. And I want to say thank you to LSX for shadowing and any other channels that might be shadowing, and to my friends over in OPN, again, Zena, Clearly, Suze, and our special guest moderator, Resist. Thank you for helping keep it chill in there. And all the chatters and all the viewers, we really appreciate you being here. We're doing this to share with you. You wouldn't make it possible if it wasn't for you. So I'm going to sign off now and archive this. And Top, I'll send you the link where it's archived if you want to share it with anybody. I'll have it up tomorrow. Thank you very much for coming in tonight. And thank you all the people in OPN. And I'll be back with you in just a moment. Good night, sir. Take care.
Love you all, man. Be good.